We played a behind closed doors game against Welshide. Welsh, I can't even say that's quite hard.
You've turned it to Sean Connery again there, Derek.
Oh, don't get me started, Dave.
No.
I'm trying to turn over a new leaf.
No.
Some of us were fucking the prom queen.
Oh, there we go.
We played a behind closed doors game against Welsh side. Fucking hell. Just to finish up on Cameron Lyle.
Lyle Cameron.
See folk with fucking first names as surnames. No. There's a 30-hour time limit, so you can waffle on as much as you want, Dave.
Cheeky bastard.
And the stadium erupts in red, white and blue. You've never seen anything like it.
Let's go.
Manchester, brace yourself. Rangers are coming!
Hi everyone and welcome to the new season 13 of the I Ready podcast. Yes, unlucky for some, not our luck, it will definitely be unlucky for us, but Dave, we're back for a new season. I can't wait.
Not unlucky for me, Derek. I love speaking to you on this podcast about our favourite team, but I don't know if you can say the same about me, because you have just said that because of this new programme you've got that I can waffle on for as long as I want, so I don't know quite how to take that one.
Mute.
Just the usual then.
Yes, because Skype went down, or they've taken Skype off us now, then having to find new ways of recording, but we've overcome that problem. It looks like we're back again for another season. New manager, new owners, it's all go.
It is all go. The last pod that we did was discussing everything that went on, the takeover, the new manager. I had a few gripes. You were trying to get me to calm down. But now that the season is almost upon us, we've got a big game coming up. I'm just glad that football is back and genuinely excited just to see what happens. And there has been a lot happening since we last spoke, a lot of players in and a lot of things to talk about.
Yes, and not only that, Donald Trump joined the Chelsea team as well, by the look of it. Or was it really just John Terry in a Donald Trump mask?
Yes, I know. Yeah. I saw that one, yeah. No.
Yes, but without further ado, we'll do the usual. I've not updated any noises or sounds at all. That's just me being lazy. But we'll go down the tunnel and onto the park. So obviously we've had a few games, a few friendlies to contend with, a few closed doors games as well. We'll get into that, but the first thing we've got to cover is obviously the transfers in and out. We're obviously deep into the transfer season just now. The one thing that came from it, I want to just say this before we get into who's came in and out. Russel Martin came out and said, I've spoke to players who have said I need to see my options, so it's a no from us and on to the next player. We need people desperate to play for Rangers and not just be an option. Dave, that is the attitude we need to have. And I know, see if Lionel Messi came and says, oh right, I might sign for you, but I need to see my options. I can guarantee you Martin wouldn't be saying that, or we're just going to move on then. But that's the type of attitude I like to see. I don't want any player who doesn't want to be with us.
Lionel Messi unsure of signing for Rangers, or Kieran Dowell desperate to play for Rangers. I would have Kieran Dowell every day of the week, and I've got a feeling that we will be having Kieran Dowell playing for us, going by everything I've seen over the past few weeks. But there you go. No, I agree 100%. We need people who are 100% committed to the club. It is a huge transition. We do know that. We knew we were needing a lot of new players. We knew all the positions that we needed. I wasn't under any illusions, Derek, as a lot of people were thinking that we were going to go out and spend 10 million on one player and 8 million on another player. I knew it wasn't going to be like that. I was seeing it more that Russel Martin has got a clear vision and style of how he wants Rangers to play. and he is going round to try and get players who will fit that style of football as best he can, and that's kind of how it has been going for us as well. So I'm not surprised at the type of players that we have been bringing in.
I mean, you've put down the actual fees that we apparently paid for these players.
Well, apparently.
But that's why I haven't, because you've seen from the accounts last season, we apparently got good money for about 3 or 4 players, and it turned out to be absolute peanuts in comparison.
Yes.
So what's reported in the media is normally a load of bollocks, basically. So I'm not listing the fees down, but we'll go into it nonetheless anyway. So the first player obviously was a legacy from the last regime, from the Clermont and Coppin regime, which was Oscar Cortez. We had that obligation to buy set up from last season. He's not really shown anything, mainly because being out injured. That's not his fault, obviously. It is a risk, but we had to buy him. It's like the cliche, he'll be like a new player, but that's again if he stays fit. Next one here, again, it's another legacy from the Clermont Coppin era. I signed him on a pre-contract. Lyle Cameron, 22-year-old midfielder from Dundee. So I quite like the cut of his jib so far, certainly in the interviews he's given, the behind-the-scenes stuff as well. I'm looking forward to seeing more of him.
Definitely, Derek. I was always impressed with this guy. Every single time I saw him play against us, I thought this boy is really talented. It was between him and obviously the other player that went to Celtic, McCowan, last season, that were the driving force for Dundee. McCowan went away and he stepped up even more. He's always looked very capable, scores a lot of goals from midfield, and I thought it was an excellent addition to the squad, considering we got him on a free transfer. So no, really pleased with that one. And only 22 years old as well, so another young player, with Cortez only been 21 as well, so 2 young players for us. And it didn't stop there, because the vast majority of the signings have all been relatively young as well.
Yeah, just to round up with Lyle Cameron as well, of course he picked up a small knock in his first week being here as well, so you know, if it doesn't
Perfect.
it doesn't rain
Perfect for us.
Yes, fits right in. Next one here, Max Aarons. He's a 25-year-old fullback from AFC Bournemouth. We've signed him on a season-long loan. Another good promising player there. Next one, Joe Rothwell, 30-year-old midfielder from Bournemouth also. Signed him on a 3-year deal. Emmanuel Fernandez, 23-year-old defender from Peterborough. That's a 4-year deal. Tello Asgard, a 23-year-old attacking midfielder from Luton Town. That's on a 4-year deal. Nasser Njiga, I think that's how you pronounce it, 22-year-old winger from Wolves. That's a season-long loan. Of course, he suffered a head knock in training. He had to get the obligatory golf bandage around his head as well, but fortunately that was only a small knock. Last signing we've got so far is, I don't know how you pronounce his first name, DJ Gasamana, or Gasama. Is that how you pronounce it?
Gassama, I think it is,
yes.
But there you go. Yeah.
I've got a cheek to slag off Tom Miller with pronunciations.
So I was about to say, I can't wait to hear Rangers TV next season.
Just call him the Gas Man, that's all.
That's it, yeah.
But he's a 21-year-old winger from Sheffield Wednesday. That's on a 4-year deal as well. So, as you said, Dave, majority young players apart from Joe Rothwell there. The big thing that has come from these signings, though, they're all very tall, very physical. It's no secret that we were absolutely bullied last season. So it's good to see that we've signed players that are physical for this league, because the league is physical. Martin will know this from playing up here. So it's good to see that we've got that, and hopefully that's a good steading for us as well. Now, all these signings, unless you're looking at that leagues, they've all came from lower league England generally. Obviously, Tello Asgard's a Norwegian international, though. People moaning because they're from lower league England. Well, we signed someone with the stature of Aaron Ramsey, and he was shite. So it doesn't matter who you sign. And I've said it time and time again, every signing, every manager, every coach is a risk. It's how they blend together. I don't care where they come from, as long as they blend together and they play well. That's all we can ask for. And we could sign everybody from Barcelona and they could still be a risk, because they maybe don't adapt to the Scottish game.
And they would probably get injured in training in their first week if they signed for us, Derek. No, you're quite right. I am really pleased with the signing of Jigger, the central defender. He's obviously a Wolves player, but he was picked up from Red Star Belgrade. He's got Champions League experience. As you say, he looks the part, big, strong in defence, along with Emmanuel Fernandez, who maybe doesn't have the pedigree. He was playing for Peterborough and certainly going online, which I'm not paying much attention to. He hasn't been given a great write-up, but certainly when I watched him in the friendlies you're going to get into against Club Brugge, I thought he looked excellent. I thought he looked strong. I thought he looked composed and confident. So, another player. But as you say, it looks as if he is building a very big, strong team to deal with the physicality of playing in Scottish football. And I think that Joe Rothwell also is quite a big chap for playing in midfield also. Another guy, I don't know if you heard it or not, Derek, I can only go by ex-professionals, but I was listening to Ross McCormack, who obviously played for Leeds, and according to him, he gave this guy a shining report and said that this guy's going to be absolutely tremendous. He's looking forward to him. Apparently, he was like one of Leeds' best players last season, very consistent, very attack-minded as well. So a few of them that I don't know much about, but certainly on paper, it looks as if he is going out to make us very, very strong, very powerful. And we've not had that in a long, long, long time, Derek.
No, definitely not. A couple of coaches came in. Mike Williamson joined as a first team coach, and Salvatore Bibbo has joined as a goalkeeping coach also. So the outgoings now, I think we covered them in the last kind of podcast because it was already confirmed they were going away. But Vaclav Cherny, Kasawin Yiro, Rafael Fernandez, all loans ended. Yanis Hadji, Leon Balogun and Tom Lawrence all left at the end of their contract as well. A host of academy players left as well. Lewis Budenaukis, Jay Hogarth, Jacob Paziskas, Jack Harkness, Christian Webster, Leighton Grant, Kerr Robertson, Darren McNally, Grant Leach, Harry Weir, Adam Devine, Cole McKinnon and Archie Stevens. So a few known names there, a few that have been fleeting around the first team. Again, it's another problem with the academy. If they're not getting into our first team, they should be getting sold on for, even if it's like a few £100,000, as long as the money was churning in. But all these players who've, some of them, as I said, have fleeted around the first team squad, have just all left for nothing. Yep. So again, that's one of the things that the whole review's considering. We are still trying to sign a head of academy, so we'll wait and see. But that's something that really, really needs to get better.
Yes, definitely. 100%.
Yep. Next thing here, I'll leave her in terms of the coaches. First team coach Isam Charai left by mutual consent. He arrived about a month before Clement left. He stayed on when Clement left. It wasn't announced at the time that Charai left. However, a week or so later, he became the head coach at Belgian club Westerlo. So overall, really a strange appointment. Did he leave because he had talks with Westerlo? Possibly, I don't know. Like so many appointments over the past year or so with us, he wasn't in the door long enough to form any sort of opinion on him. So certainly no bad feeling against him. Wish him well. It was just one of these things, maybe bad timing when he came in.
It was very strange because when he brought in, everybody immediately said, oh, he's brought in because he's Moroccan, because of Igaman. He's obviously going to be working with him. But, for him to get a head coach job in the Belgian top league, I realise it's not one of the top teams, but regardless, to get a head coach job playing in that league, there must have been something about him, Derek. Unfortunately, we never got the opportunity to see it.
I mean, this is the problem. Was he brought in for Igaman? No, nobody really knows. That was a lot of speculation. I don't think that was ever confirmed. So
exactly, yes.
This is the problem with being online. People give opinions out, and I know that's what we do here, but we don't see it as fact. It's our opinion. So I don't know with that one. As we both said, a bit strange.
I do highly doubt it. That was just what was being muted when he came in. It must be because of Igaman. But as I say, because of the opportunity that he's had and the fact that he's now a head coach in that league, it shows that it, obviously wasn't because of that. But unfortunately, we didn't get to really see all the qualities that he was able to bring, because there obviously is some there.
Yeah. So the speculation, rumours and confirmed bids about players that are maybe still to leave. Dessers, AEK Athens are apparently bidding for him, but we've knocked them back because it doesn't meet our valuation. Same with Eggman, Lille's apparently bid for him, allegedly around about 15 million euros. We think value him maybe about 17 to 20 million. So that's what the rumours are. If that is the case, I'm glad we're sticking to our guns about valuations. I hope it doesn't turn into a Morelos type issue where they end up going for nothing or a cut price deal in a year's time or so. But that's one thing we need to get better at, sticking to our guns. And if Celtic are getting weird and wonderful bids for their players, average players at best, we should be doing the same ultimately. And that's the whole player trading model, the highly lauded one, which is never really enacted, needs to start getting enacted. And I'm pretty sure the new owners will. We've got a good track record of doing that from Leeds anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
Next one here is Russel Martin confirmed that 20 had a bid accepted for Robin Proper. I don't know, nothing's happened yet. The story is that Proper's wanting compensation for his contract with us as because he'll be on less money. So I can understand his point of view if he's going to be on less money, but if he wants to accept the deal, then he accepts the deal. If he doesn't, he doesn't. Just let us know what he's doing. His option is that he accepts the deal and he moves on, and we thank him for his lack of service, or he doesn't. he rejects the deal and he sits on the sidelines for the next year, wastes his career a bit. So it's a bit of a strange one, that as well.
When he first came, Derek, he had, the profile of the player. We thought, yeah, this is the type of guy that we're looking, playing in the Dutch league, captain of his team, obviously a leader. But he's came in, he's looked really weak, he's looked really slow. His highlight, obviously, scoring the goal against Celtic. But apart from that, it's been more poor performances than good performances. And that's certainly where we've been really, really weak, has been in defence. And unfortunately, he didn't shine for us at all. So, as you say, if we managed to get anything for him at all, I would be taking it. But we'll just have to wait and see if some sort of deal can be worked out. But as you say, it looks as if he's sticking to his guns. He's looking for money that he thinks he's owed, and we just have to hope that something does get sorted out.
Yep. Next one here is there's been a rumoured bid by Trabzonspor for Sutor, allegedly around about 1.5 million. I would bite your hand off at that. He's got his good points, but he's far, far too error prone. Not to mention he's missed part of pre-season already because he delayed getting a hernia operation so he could play in 2 meaningless friendlies for Scotland, which ironically he scored in the first one, but he never got a game in the second one. I mean, not only is he error prone, he's far too injury prone as well. And I've said for a long time, he's unreliable that way. He's certainly not the answer in centre back. He's got his good points, yes, but not for me. We need to be building better, Dave.
One of the few things that me and you do disagree on, Derek, I actually like John Sutor, and I think that if he had a steady, reliable partner at centre half, we would see the best of him. But he is injury prone, but at the same time we did sign him for free, so for a free transfer for a player of his ability, and he has had errors, but who in our team hasn't had errors, hasn't been helped out by his players playing alongside him, hasn't been helped out by his goalkeeper either. So I'm not as hard on him as you are, Derek, and I would be trying to keep a hold of him for that Scottish presence in there and trying to get him to build up a reputation with a solid, reliable centre-half alongside of him. So that's where the two of us differ on our opinions on certain players.
I'm not sure, though, you can say, oh, well, he's made mistakes, but so is everyone else, though. That's the whole point. That's the reason why we're in this situation with managers and teams again. So it's about players, you've seen it last year, too many players making individual mistakes, and especially at the back. We need to eradicate that. Yes, there will be slip-ups, but you need to stop that. That's the bottom line. The last player here, Russel Martin, has said that Inciala is free to go. Basically, he's not going to get his game, so he needs to go out and develop his career. So he'll be another one, I'm pretty sure, going out the door shortly. Next thing here is the leadership group that apparently got announced today. Strange, I've got to say. Kieran Dowell, James Tavernier, Butland and Sutor. So Dowell, you never thought that he would be in the team, never mind being part of the leadership group. Tavernier, you wanted him away. Butland, again, another one you wanted away. And Sutor, again, well, we've just discussed the kind of juries out there. The thing is, we're now in a situation where as much as Martin will have say in things and signings, he will not have the final say. So he really has to prepare the team for who he has just now. So if that changes by the time the transfer window closes, then so be it. So I'm not really sure the leadership group means much when it comes to that just now. That said, again, Dill is a surprise there for being there. However, if Martin can get a tune out of him, clearly Tavernier will be seeing out his contract as much as we kind of don't want that to happen. He will be doing that. I don't agree, as it's clear that he can no longer do what he's been doing. However, if he stops taking every single set piece, if he stops trying to organise things and just do the basics like marking, maybe, but I've really got my concerns about him there. If he plays centre-back, which he actually had his best performances in centre-back last season, I think the few games he did have, however, he was still error-prone. And that was annoying. There was a game, it was maybe the Hibs game actually, the last game, where he was at fault for the second goal, I think, because he just never marked his man. And that was playing at centre-back. So there's so many times that's been the case. He just needs to realise that his body can no longer do it. You need to start delegating out. That's what a captain should be doing. Butland is a tricky one because it's quite clear that he was going through some sort of crisis in confidence. I don't think he was much like McGregor before McGregor left. Because when it came to McGregor, that was clearly his body that was letting him down. I don't think that's the case with Butland. I think it's more just he came back from being a dad again and just everything went to shit for him and he couldn't do anything right, and that's why Kelly came in. So there clearly is a good keeper there. We've seen that in his first maybe 6 months of his Rangers stint. Who knows, if he can get that confidence back, we've got a good keeper on our hands, but we'll need to wait and see there.
You know me, Derek, like you, I thought he was a fantastic keeper when we first got him in. I thought this is tremendous. We're back to having someone reliable in goals again after Alan McGregor was there for so long. But last season, as you just said there, it was just error after error after error, and it was simple things. Then he would pull off the odd decent save, but nothing there. And nothing against Kelly. I think he's a good goalkeeper and a goalkeeper that should be playing every week. And possibly, no offence to anyone, but a lower sort of strength team in Scotland. He should be playing, but for us, we're needing something extra special in goals. And as you say, I just hope if it is Butland that he can re-find the form that he was in when he first came to us.
There's obviously the window's still open. There will be hopefully moves out, because I think there's a number of players there that you would think would still need to get rid of. I think we're still in the market for a good few players yet as well. Obviously the striking situation as well, depending on what happens with Dessers and Igman. I would like to think we've got somebody ready to put a bid in for, and a likely player that's going to come in, but we'll just need to wait and see, and we'll be back with that in due course.
One thing before we finish, Derek, the one thing that I have really enjoyed, and me and you have spoke about constant rumours and stuff, and I quite like the rumours, just to be looking at players, anybody that we're being linked with. But nearly, I would 99% of the players that we've signed so far have came out with absolutely nothing, with no prior warning. The press have had no sniff of it whatsoever. It's just happened, or if the press have put anything out, it's either been a lucky guess or it's just before the player has signed for us. So the club are doing their business very quietly, no prying eyes, and I do actually like that. I think it's been very refreshing that they've went about their business like that.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a good change, and some of the promo videos to announce them have been fantastic as well. I mean, the standout has got to be Taylor Asgard's one with the whole Thor hammer as well. That was genius. That really was. The games now, we've had a few games. We see it, others see it, the clubs see it every single year, and it doesn't seem to resonate with some fans who absolutely lose their shit over the results and performances. Pre-season is about conditioning, tactics, trying things you don't get a chance to try in actual games, trying partnerships out that will unlikely be used, put players you're looking to sell into at least a basic pre-season mode so that it makes them more enticing to sell. But you still get the same fans losing their shit over and over. Now, absolutely, they're entitled to their opinion, but the constant moaning, the constant gripes, the constant utter nonsense coming out of some people's mouths and fingers in their tweets is beyond a joke, Dave. It really is. We'll get into some of it in one of the games as well. But Monday the 23rd, the team returned to training. We played a behind closed doors game against Welsh side, the New Saints, and we lost 1-0. Again, Dave, people were losing their shit over it. I don't know the team because I never really paid much attention to the game, but I think it was not a makeshift team, but an unusual team, shall we say. We still had players that were given extra weeks off because they had international duty. We still had players with wee knocks who would have been normally there and weren't there. So I think people were going mad over the fact that we lost, and Dave, it was a run out.
It was a run out, and it's behind closed doors. I certainly saw it through certain fan pages rather than on the official page. So it's obviously there are people being able to report or be able to put things on social media that are getting to watch it.
Next game, though, was Sunday, the 6th of July. It was a home friendly against Club Brugge. We drew 2 each. Dave, I think you watched the game. It was a very poor first half, going 2-0 down. Granted, I seen the second goal of theirs, and it was an absolute cracker, so you can't really can't blame the team for that. Much better in the second half. What is concerning, though, Dave, is fans, when the half-time whistle blew, they booed the team. I mean,
I know it was quite good. I mean, it was poor, but yeah, I was quite surprised about that myself. And if Russel Martin didn't know that he was under pressure taking the Rangers job, he certainly did at half time in our first home pre-season friendly. When there was boos ringing out, I think he must have thought to himself, "Oh my God, what's going on here?"
Yeah, I mean, did you watch the game? What was your take on it?
First half, they were dreadful. Never, to coin a phrase, laid a glove on them whatsoever. Bruges ran the show. We couldn't get near them in midfield whatsoever. We looked very, very, very poor in defence. We mentioned them. It was Robin Proper at the back, along with Leon King playing at centre half. Very powder puff, and we offered nothing. Into the second half, though, completely different, more assured, getting more of our sort of regular players. We took control in midfield. I thought Diomande was excellent when he came on, scored a fantastic goal. It's got to be said. Even the likes of Barami, when he came on, I thought he changed the game for us. It was him that set up the goal for young Finlay Curtis, who took his goal really well right at the end of the game to make it 2-2. Curtis, I've got to say, the only player didn't get substituted that was on, throughout the game in the first half. So he lasted the full 90 minutes. He was the only bright spot of the first half, but certainly in the second half, a much improved performance and a couple of really good goals as well.
I mean, I think what people have got to understand as well is Bruges are one of the teams that we could face in the Champions League qualifiers if we get past Panathinaikos, or I think we can either meet them in the next round or the round after that potentially.
Yes.
Russell Martin came out and said that I wouldn't have normally organised a club of this stature as the first main friendly as well, but we had to get it going because we've got Panathinaikos coming up. So I think people have got to be mindful of that. A draw in the end wasn't too bad a result, and it was, again though, it's not about the results. It's about getting minutes in the legs. It's about trying out different tactics, see what combinations of players work. So next thing though, that we went to St George's Park for a training camp. It was apparently, there was an open day which Heart and Hand went to, and a few of the other podcasters as well, and apparently it looked a pretty intensive training. From all the interviews that the players have done, that's what they've said. It's been a very physical, very intensive pre-season so far. A lot of tactics getting involved as well. So looks as if we are changing things about. Martins came out and said as well, I've seen some bad habits that I've seen previous in last year creeping back in, and I've been trying to get that out of them so that it basically becomes second nature, the new way of doing things. So, and it's about moving the ball quicker as well, which again, that's music to your ears, because that's what worked when Clement first came in. We moved the ball about quick, It's what worked in Gerrard's reign as well, and all of a sudden we just went back to the whole slow, methodical football, which you've seen it in Gerrard's time as well towards the end. You've seen it in Beale's time, you've seen it in Clement's time. I don't know why the team do that, but they just do it. So get that knocked out of them, which is good to see. We also played a behind closed doors friendly against Barnsley on the 12th of July. That was a one each draw. Once we came back up the road, another behind closed doors friendly. That was against Dunfermline on the 15th of July. We were 1-4-1. So no much to say about them because we're behind closed doors. So the game next week though, Dave, first competitive game, Tuesday the 22nd of July. It's at home against Panathinaikos in the Champions League qualifier, second round, leg one. That's a 19:45 kickoff. So Dave, you're going to that game, aren't you?
I am, yes. I've got tickets, no problem. Only £30, which I was quite surprised about, to be honest with you. I thought they would have been trying to get as much money out of the fans as possible for these games, but no, £30, so quite reasonable. Got tickets, no problem. Looking forward to getting back to the football, Derek. I'm a wee bit anxious about the game itself, a wee bit concerned. I find it very, very odd that there hasn't been at least one more friendly against a more of a quality team than what we have been playing. Because usually there's every season for any team, there's usually 2 or 3, bigger friendlies against stronger opposition, than what we have been playing, in these games behind closed doors. So I think it's going to be very, very testing. I'm hoping that Panathinaikos aren't as good as what we're all thinking that they are going to be. But it's very strange. Everything, as you say, has been done behind closed doors. So we've had to rely on certain fan podcasts and people on social media to report on these things and just to find out how we're playing and what has been happening. But only time will tell, and the first opportunity that we'll all really get to see it will be next Tuesday. So we'll just have to wait and see. It's been very telling in all of these behind closed doors that with Dessers and Igaman being not fit, that it's been Danilo that they've had to rely on to be, our striker up front. So we've got our concerns about him also, so we just have to wait and see if anybody else is going to be fit. And obviously, I'm not sure, I think it's possibly tomorrow that's the final day for us to register players for the Champions League, or it's maybe the day after that, so we've not got a lot of time left for signing players if they want to be playing in these games also, so only time will tell.
Yeah, we'll see. I think in terms of the pre-season friendlies, this is a strange pre-season, I think, just with everything that's happened with the so many comings and goings. With the new owners, I think everything's just up in the air than just now. So if things can get done behind closed doors, the better if the booing at half-time of the Brugge game's anything to go by. So we do have another pre-season friendly in between the two games. We've got Saturday, the 26th of July. It's a home friendly against Middlesbrough. So that'll be another interesting one. And then the next game against Panathinaikos is the following week, Wednesday the 30th of July. It's still wee leg, and that's a 1900 kickoff. So I think this is the problem with European ties, and I know we're a bit of a basket case sometimes, especially domestically, but our European form has generally been brilliant over the last 5-6 years. So I think we've got a notion of thinking about teams like Panathinaikos maybe about 20-30 years ago, rather than actually thinking about what they are just now. I think when we played Red Star Belgrade a few years ago, it was the exact same. We thought it was going to be really difficult, really hostile ground to go to. They're a big team and all that. When we got there, I don't think it was as bad as what we thought. So I think we've got to take that into consideration, and teams know our reputation in Europe as well, so they're not going to be looking forward to playing us. So we'll need to see how that pans out.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's not. We went to Olympiacos and played very well there, and they are the champions in Greece. So we've just got to hope that they aren't as good as what we're all think they are. And I think it is a touchy, just exactly what you've said there, Derek. We are being very nostalgic about certain teams and thinking that they are the teams that they used to be, the powerhouses, and again, we just have to hope that that's not the case.
Yeah. Just to finish off the games here, obviously the league fixtures got announced, so we're starting off Saturday the 2nd of August away against Motherwell, Saturday the 9th of August home against Dundee, Saturday the 23rd of August away against St Mirren, and Sunday the 31st of August, that's at home against Celtic for the first Old Firm game. So I'm not sure, there might be any League Cup fixtures in between that or something like that. I'm not too sure. There's obviously a 2-week gap in there, but we'll see if they get announced. But yeah, into the season thick and fast now.
It is, and like I say, it can't come quick enough for me personally. I've been bored out of my brains. I've even been watching the World Club football just to give me a fix of watching something, Derek. So, no, I'm pleased it is back. I am excited to see what is going to happen. Just slightly anxious about everything that's been going on. But I have been encouraged by the way that the club has went about their business and some of the signings that have came in. So I'm looking forward to watching them.
Yes. So we'll now go into the news. So obviously with the gap in between podcasts, a number of stories, obviously a few historic ones here, but they're quite interesting nonetheless. Need to open up with this one though. A couple of weeks after the takeover happened, Rangers found their fate on the farcical disciplinary panel hearing for Bomber Brown's comments during the Hibs game on the last day of the season. They found us guilty of the breach of the article, and they fined the club £3,000. Now, the club released a pretty good statement, and I'll read it out here. Rangers FC today has been found by an SFA judicial panel to have been in breach of disciplinary rule 38 following a remark made during commentary of the Hibernian versus Rangers game in May. The club has been found £3,000. We feel it necessary to highlight the broader concerns this outcome raises and the wider implications it has for clarity and confidence in the regulatory process. John Brown has spoken emotionally and spontaneously as someone who cares deeply about the club. His words were not scripted and they were not an official club comment. The ruling, however, sets a precedent where even spontaneous corrected remarks made during live coverage of a clear refereeing error are enough to trigger formal sanction. That is neither proportionate nor consistent, especially when other clubs have made stronger comments on official platforms without consequence. As part of our defence today, we flagged numerous examples of similar incidents on club channels. These incidents raise legitimate questions about the SFA rules and how consistently they are enforced. To our knowledge, none of these cases appear to have resulted in charges against the respective clubs. The lack of consistency with the SFA's policing of similar incidents leaves more questions than answers. That is why we are contacting the SFA's Chief Executive and President to seek clarity on what policies and processes the compliance officer has in place, if any, to ensure a consistent and proportionate approach to enforcement and the equal treatment of member clubs. We shall also be asking the SFA whether they accept that a rule that cannot be applied consistently across clubs and all platforms risks losing credibility as a fair and enforceable regulation. Our aim here is to understand the rationale behind the differing outcomes. A lack of consistency, or the perception of it, undermines confidence in the disciplinary process and exposes all member clubs to an uncertainty about what is and is not allowed. There remains no clear guidance on how clubs are expected to manage live broadcast content, though we note the panel acknowledged that the club's internal editorial guidelines may serve as a constructive step for others going forward. To be clear, we reference these other examples not to suggest that they should have been resulted in sanctions, but to highlight the clear inconsistency in how similar incidents have been handled. Club media channels are by nature passionate and partisan. Informal, tongue-in-cheek and emotional commentary comes with the territory, especially in live settings. But in choosing to pursue this case, the SFA has opened the door to closer scrutiny of how similar situations are handled going forward. If this is now the standard, they will be watched closely to ensure it's applied across the board, consistently, without exception and without favour. It was a bang-on statement. The only thing it lacked was a comment saying that given the clear inconsistencies that the club have highlighted, it only goes to back up John Brown's comments, because that's exactly what it's done. In the SFA's rush to try and downplay any perceived corruption, by fining us, they've done just the opposite and shown that there's corruption there.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly. No, it was. It was very strong worded. It was very well put, I think. I was actually quite surprised at how quick the club did respond and how they did respond. It's something that we've been calling out for a long time for the club to stand up. And, I was really pleased at that one. And as you say, the only thing that was missed out was basically just to reiterate what you said there. If they had just said that, it's kind of proven a point with regards to this, then if everybody knows what's going on, Derek, none of us are surprised that they came away and they fined us for that. We knew that was going to happen, but as I say, it's just very refreshing to see the club acting the way they have and speaking out straight away. So that has to be applauded from us, and something that we were all pleased about that they did.
Yeah, and just for clarification, the separate VAR review panel stated that the goal should have stood and VAR should have been intervened in this one. That's despite Willie Collum in his wee YouTube video thing trying to defend the decision because he claims there was no clear video evidence. That is despite there being clear video evidence of the ball going clearly over the line. I mean, I think that the SFA think that because the game was ultimately a dead rubber, then, it's okay, it'll be forgotten about. And you know what? Sadly, that will be forgotten about by pundits. But what if that had been a meaningful game? What happens if, Hibs or us were fighting for another league position or a place in Europe or something like that? That is the difference between, multi-million pounds here. So they can't let that go on. The question is, what learning has been taken from it? Going by other multiple failures last season, probably nothing. Mike Mulroney then came out trying to defend VAR and the refs, and he stated that he really thinks refs are doing a good job, and I think we're comparable to any other country in Europe. The only comparison is that our refs breathe air. The comparison starts and ends there, as we don't have refs in a major world or European tournament. So that's the end of the conversation right there. If our refs were in comparison to other refs around Europe, then we would have refs in European competitions like that. We don't. They're doing the usual thing. They're putting their fingers in their ears, covering their eyes, and just being oblivious to it. Mike Mulroney went on to say, see if we had a different camera angle, it still wouldn't have clarified it. The only really way to stop that is goal line technology that needs to be implemented, but that comes at a cost of about £100,000 to the teams. It's not right. It's once again not right, and the SFA just saying, shirking all responsibility and just saying, yous pay for it. Unbelievable, Dave.
Yeah, it is. Derek, going back to what you said there, the fact that it has came out that the goal should have stood as well, I don't think there's been enough said about that, with regards to, everything that went on with John Brown as well. We have been proven right. We've been proven that the goal should have stood. But as usual, Willie Collum trying to be controversial, Willie Collum to make it all about him, is coming away with a lot of absolute nonsense, as he usually does. But it is quite incredible. And as you say, to come out and say that our refereeing standards are on par with other nations, when was the last time that we had a Scottish referee at a major tournament or, being in charge of European Cup semi-finals and things like that? It's just that it's not happening at all because the referees just simply aren't good enough.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll see what refereeing delights we have got this season.
Yep.
Next thing here, 23rd of June, the AGM was held at the Doubletree Hilton in Glasgow. All resolutions passed with over 98% in favour for each of the resolutions. I'd love to know who the 2% were. Pretty much a formality to allow the £20 million worth of new shares to be issued, so that's all good there. Next thing, the board have changed the name and the status of the company behind the club so that we're no longer a public company but a private one. It means there's no legal requirement to have an AGM. Whether they still have a token one or not remains to be seen. Ultimately, if things are going well, we don't really need one. If things aren't going well, then it's back to boycotts and protest. However, let's face it, with some of the inane shite that gets asked at these things, even in the bad times, is it really going to be that much of a miss not having one?
Aye, but how come I didn't get my ticket for Motherwell away though, Derek?
Why do they no sell hot dogs with cheese on it?
No, but Derek, I've been listening to the financial experts from the east of Glasgow, and this is going to spell doom for Rangers. The fact that it's all been changed. I have seen so much absolute mentalism from them. It's unbelievable. They are so obsessed with us, and the slightest wee thing gets picked up on, and it's like having Phil 8 names, constantly going on about the club, but 1,000 times over. They're the most obsessed fan base that I've ever known. And that whole thing where it's changing to a private company it's tipped them all over the edge. It's incredible.
Next thing here, Rangers women wrapped up the season by winning the Scottish Cup 3-0 against Glasgow City. It means they got the cup double for the second year running. However, the season's still deemed pretty much a failure because they never won the league. We're about winning leagues at Rangers here. Like I said, when this 1-9 pish was thrown at Gerrard, they won 4 and 6, but none of the 4 trophies were the league. So really, it's a failure.
Yeah.
On the back of that, Joe Potter left as manager of the Rangers women's team to take up a role at Crystal Palace. So I don't know if that was just to go back down south and get a club nearer home, or it was the fact that her time had come, and or the fact that she never won the league and she thought the writing was on the wall. I don't know, but good luck to her nonetheless.
Yes.
Next thing, 98% of season tickets were renewed, so brilliant. I'm not sure if that includes seat movers or not, but however, regardless, a fantastic figure. I think the club announced today as well there was something like about 1,200 new season ticket holders as well, so that's always good to see. Next year, there's been a raft of SPFL appointments from our directors. So Director Fraser Thornton has been appointed to the SPFL Remuneration and Appointments Committee. CFO James Taylor has been appointed to the SPFL Audit Committee. Sporting Director Kevin Thelwell has been appointed to both the Compensation Tribunal Working Group and the SPFL Competitions Working Group. Managing Director of our women's football, Donald Gillies, has been appointed to the SPFL representative to the SFA Congress for a 2-year term. Head of Safety and Security, Darren Falls, has been appointed to the SPFL Policing Working Group. Company Secretary and Legal Director Graham Horseman has been taking on 3 roles with the SPFL Rules and Regulations Review Working Group, a similar working group for the SFA, and a Judicial Panel Protocol Working Group. Comms and Marketing Chief Greg Mailer has been appointed to the Scottish Football Marketing Commercial Advisory Board. And finally, CEO Patrick Stewart was elected onto the SPFL board. So really, really good to see that there. Other than the SPFL board, which Patrick Stewart's been appointed to, I'm not sure if we've had anyone in these positions in the past. If we did, I'm not sure it was disclosed. Considering for the past year we've had virtually nobody in executive positions, I'm highly doubting that we did actually have anybody there. Like the club have said for years, we want to work for the betterment of the Scottish game, not just us. Not only that though, we've got people on our side in major positions, so hopefully we'd like to think they're able to influence things in various different places all around Scottish football here. Kind of like the commercial point of view with the TV deals and all that, which of note, the SPFL have decided in their wisdom to renew the Premier Sports agreement for the League Cup, so they're going to be locked into the deal till 2031 now. What is the point?
Exactly, yeah, I know. It's incredible.
Yep. So the next thing here, obviously the home kit got announced, which is an absolute cracking home kit. The away kit was released. Why could it not just be a white version of the home top?
I think trying to go slightly retro, Derek, and going back, because we've had similar variations of that white top in the past. I mean, going all the way back to the days of Admiral, and then, the last time that we were with Umbro as well. So I don't know if that's been the idea or not. I actually don't mind it at all, the away top. They've not been as bad as ones that we've had in the past, but I've got a feeling that that's the reason that they're doing it, that they're trying to be as retro as they possibly can.
Yeah. They released the third kit as well. The promo image makes it look absolutely atrocious. However, like the away top, normal pictures and in person, it makes it much better than the promo tops, promo pictures. They also released a black training hoodie. Again, the promo pics make it look worse. This one is not the best though. I think, like you said, they've tried to go retro, the RFC crest with a big Umbro badge right below the centre. But I think as well, though, it looks slightly better in person. I think there's been another training top as well, or it was a really, really weird red and white and blue one, which has got really weird patterns on it, which looks daft. But there is another white training top as well with blue shoulders, which has been released, which looks quite good as well. So, bit hit and miss there, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Next thing, statutory accounts for 3 subsidiaries were released, showing that New Edmondson House, for its first full year of operations, recorded a £2.1 million turnover with a profit of £544,000. I'm sure people will say, well, it's not the £1 million that we're told. It will never have been the 1 year goal to make £1 million. That's kind of in the future, but it's a step in the right direction. It can do better, of course, and I think there are several things that they need to start doing. The events thing needs to get sorted out initially as well. I think there's a high-profile person that's doing a gig there shortly, but again, you don't see it on any... I only seen it in a Rangers thing. I never seen it on any sort of billboards or anything like that, so we need to get better at booking people and advertising that as well. So,
yeah, definitely.
Next thing here, works have been apparently ongoing in the Copeland stand to sort out the mess from last season with the kiosks and the toilets. There's also works planned, fixtures dependent apparently, to replace barriers that were blocking views with glass ones so that people can look right through them and not got an obstructed view. So hopefully that all goes without a hitch.
Yeah, no, that's good. The fan experience is what they're going for, Derek. So I think it's been high time that there has been some improvements there, so that's good to know.
Yep. Last couple of things here. The needle appears to be moving about letting ordinary fans have a pint at the football, with a number of trials at the low league teams' League Cup fixtures last weekend, and there's more trials to go ahead over the next coming weekends. So a limited number of fans were allowed to have a pint or two, all passed without any issues. All I can say is if it comes to us in any sort of form, whether it be a trial or full thing, don't be a dick. Have a pint, just don't cause any issues.
I think the worrying thing for me and you, Derek, is the fact that we would probably, going through the weak bladder stage, we would probably be needing the toilet halfway through the first half. So quite worrying for me, that one.
Yes. And the last piece of news I've got here, David Murray has been doing press for his launch of his autobiography. Clearly a divisive character. Not many Rangers fans will care. I'm not going to lie, I'm not as down on him as others are. Absolutely, yes, he spent recklessly chasing Europe, which, let's face it, in a time when it was feasible to do so, unlike now. You could spend tens of millions back then, whereas now you need to spend hundreds of millions to do it. He misled us due to where the money was coming from when he was pumping money in particular about a share issue as well. But he's 100% correct in saying that the debt was being managed, but the 2008 banking crisis happened and that escalated things with debts being called in, and then HMRC were, and we've said it before, HMRC were chasing a fictitious amount of money rather than the actual amount of money due, which was the tax on the EBTs and not the actual EBT value which they wanted us to pay. I don't blame him for using EBTs. I certainly don't blame him for selling to Craig White and, apparently getting duped and all that kind of nonsense. He done that because from his interviews, he was clearly wanting out. He was going through health issues. The banks were wanting the debts. He was just wanting rid of the club, so that's why he wanted out of it. He did make reference to other directors warning him of Craig White, and he got a bit of flack for that. But he's also correct in saying that the other directors might have warned him, but none of them brought anybody else to the table. That said, that doesn't mean that he should have sold to White though, but the other directors could have helped out there as well with trying to bring other investors to the table. Maybe they did and they couldn't find anyone, but again, it's in the past now. Whether many Rangers fans will take much notice of what David Murray has to say, probably not, but I still find it quite interesting, the whole case nonetheless.
I think Rangers fans would be forgiving of David Murray if the whole Craig White situation hadn't have happened, Derek, because I don't think there's many people out there that believe that he got duped, like he said that he did, with someone who is as a professional, a businessman as he is, astute that he is, that he would get duped like he said he did. So it doesn't wash with the vast majority of Rangers fans, Derek, and unfortunately for David Murray, it never will, and that's something that he's going to be tarred with for the rest of his life.
Yep. So, Dave, it's now time for your favourite part, Fesshole Corner.
Well,
I've seen a lot of my friends' Todgers over the years, and I keep a mental note of where they rank. Chris has been the undefeated champion for nearly a decade, but I can never tell him.
I don't want to know. I don't know he's ranking it. I don't want to know.
Saw a car theft that the local police ended up appealing for witnesses for. I didn't come forward as I saw it whilst out dogging. Couldn't risk anyone finding out. I've been running for years, but I never truly felt like a proper runner till I done my first shit mid-run, outdoors in a bush. A surprisingly clean, efficient way of pooing. Me and the missus were engaging in rather energetic sex, and at the moment of climax I coughed a large glob of sputum in her hair. She thought I'd shot a particularly impressive load and decided probably best not to shatter her illusion.
What the fuck? That's mad. Oh, dearie dear.
I'm called Gary because my dad was a huge Gary Glitter fan. Luckily, Gary Lineker got famous just in time to save me from a lifetime of explaining why I was named after a convicted nonce.
Yes, exactly.
My family and I were watching TV and there was an anal sex scene. My mum casually said that they make it look surprisingly easy on TV. It really isn't that easy. I've been receiving therapy for that comment ever since.
What a fucking TV program are they watching? Oh dear.
And the last one I've got here. I've lost 4.5 stone in weight since October. I can't tell people the incentive for me to do so was being the only person to be turned down to join a gangbang and a swinger club by the lady's husband for being too fat. The shame.
Oh, my secret suit, Derek.
So, on that cheery note, we will end the podcast.
Yeah.
So, yes, lots of changes, lots of transfers, lots of, hopefully, people to go out, still more to come in. Big important game starting next week. We will see what happens.
Yes, a lot of uncertainty. I just hope that Russel Martin has managed to get everything clicking in time for the big game coming up, but only time will tell.
Yes. So, all that's left to say is thanks for listening and goodbye.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
And the stadium erupts in red, white and blue. You've never seen anything like it.
Let's go.